Russia said on November 24 that it is now carefully reviewing the US-drafted peace plan to end the war in Ukraine, signaling that Moscow is yet to commit to any action on Washington's new proposal. A Russian presidential aide told media that Moscow expects the US plan to be heavily modified before any final deal is reached, suggesting that significant alterations might impact any potential outcome. President Vladimir Putin's aide also revealed that the United States has proposed a face-to-face meeting to discuss the peace proposal, but he added that no date has yet been set for such high-level talks to take place. Putin's advisor Yury Ushakov further noted that many parts of the current draft seem acceptable to Moscow, hinting that Russia sees some elements as a workable basis even though other points remain contentious. Russia's comments came just one day after US, Ukrainian, and European Union officials met in Geneva on November 23 to discuss and adjust the plan, underscoring how fast the diplomatic track is moving. Washington had already presented its peace framework to both Moscow and Kiev earlier in November 2025, giving all sides time to respond before formal negotiations on a final text begin. Although the full details of the US proposal have not been officially disclosed, multiple reports suggest that the draft contains terms widely viewed as tilted in Russia's favor. According to these reports, the draft reportedly includes US acceptance of Russian control over Crimea and the Donbass region, effectively freezing territorial changes made since 2014 and 2022. The proposal is also said to expect Ukraine to cap the size of its military and to refrain from seeking NATO membership in the future, locking in long-term limits on Kiev security choices. Ushakov said, quote, "It will, of course, be subject to revision and modification, on our side, and surely on the Ukrainian side as well, and on the American and European sides. This is a very serious issue." Unquote. Meanwhile, the European Union has put forward its own set of demands, challenging several key parts of the American plan and pushing for tougher protections for Ukraine, according to reports. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on November 23 that Kiev's army should not be subject to any cap, arguing that Ukraine must retain the right to build sufficient military strength. The EU has also asked to play a central role in the peace process and has opposed any deal that would change Ukraine's internationally recognized borders by force, insisting that such changes cannot be legitimized. Ushakov dismissed the EU's demands as unconstructive, calling many of the European terms unacceptable to Russia and accusing Brussels of undermining prospects for a compromise. Against this diplomatic backdrop, on the intervening night of November the 24th and 25th, Ukraine endured large-scale Russian aerial attacks on its capital Kiev, highlighting the ongoing brutality of the war despite peace efforts. The Russian aerial assault targeted both critical energy infrastructure and residential areas in Kiev, aiming to damage power systems while also striking civilian neighborhoods. Ukrainian officials said Russian forces attacked with waves of drones and Kinjal missiles, with outlets like the Kiev Independent reporting on the scale and intensity of the overnight barrage. Ukraine's energy ministry condemned the strikes as a massive combined attack on energy infrastructure facilities, warning of fresh disruptions to electricity and heating as winter sets in. Several multi-story residential buildings across the city were damaged and set ablaze in the attacks, forcing emergency evacuations as firefighters battled flames and rescuers searched for survivors in the rubble.